moi, c'était bon ou pas?
Event tonight. Finally. So, hello. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. This is our Huawei 2023 Digital Night. Thank you. My name is Jean-Christophe Tijoux. I am a Key Account Director at Huawei. I've been working at this company for more than 10 years now, but I'm still fully passionate and I'm still very eager to share more about this company to my friends, to my colleagues, to my customers, or to students like you tonight. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Now this year again, our talent flagship event takes place in Paris, but it's also broadcasted live on the internet, where thousands of other students can watch it live. And more than that, there are also 8 other venues where this event takes place in Huawei Europe region. So ladies and gentlemen in this room, would you give me a bit of help? Can you stand up just for a few seconds? Can you all stand up, please? Come on, you're young and energetic and you've been walking to here. So you all stand up. Okay, great. Thank you for your help. So now we're going to wave hello to our colleagues all over Europe here. So hello to Finland, Germany, Italy, Romania, Spain, Switzerland, Sweden, Turkey. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much to all of you to join this event. Really, it's a great pleasure to see you all over there. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Now you can rest. But keep listening to every single word of this evening, okay? We're going to enjoy very nice keynotes, very nice sharing experience that people are living in this company, and we are very open to share all this with you. But let's not wait longer, and let's invite on stage Huawei Europe HR Vice President for his opening speech of the 2023 Huawei Digital Night. Let's welcome on stage Mr. Jimmy Tian. Jimmy Tian, please, welcome. Thank you.
Dear students and graduates, good evening, and welcome to our Huawei Digital Night 2023. Same like at last year, we are very happy to be back in Paris and delighted to see all of you and our future talents. At Huawei, we remain committed to create a fully connected intelligence world, and we believe that the key to unlocking the future digital world are passion and adding value with the wisdom to maintain the sustainable world. More than 207,000 employees in more than 170 countries and regions have already joined us to achieve this great vision by living up to these core values. You will have heard that as a global society, we have entered the first industrial revolution, where the attraction and retention of the highly skilled talents become increasingly more critical. Huawei value all ICT talents in Europe, and we strongly and continuously invest in the use and development of the local talents all over Europe. Within Europe, we employ more than 13,000 talents and have been certified as a top employer in Europe for 4 years, and headquartered in Düsseldorf, Germany. The Europe region manages 43 countries' business. Huawei's operation in Europe has contributed more than 12 billion euro to the Europe economy, and supporting more than 140,000 jobs directly or through its supply chain. By the end of 2022, Huawei had helped Europe reduced 102 million tons of the carbon emission as a part of our effort to help Europe achieve carbon neutrality. In the area of talent cultivation and university cooperation, we have worked with more than 200 universities and cultivated more than 20,000 ICT students over the past 3 years. At Huawei, we provide young talents with the support to realize their potential to become the best version of themselves and become successful future leaders. During today's event, we will provide you with insights into our different talents development programs, which we operate across Europe. Huawei offers a large number of diverse and successfully designed programs and activities for young talents, which including pre-graduate programs such as Seed for the Futures, the ICT Academy, the Huawei Student Development Program, and various internship opportunities. We believe that we have something to offer to all of you and our potential future talents. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and we hope you will enjoy our inspiring keynotes and presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you for this opening speech. I think you've understood a lot of opportunities with Huawei for you. And I hope that all the next topics will also be very interesting and inspiring for you about these opportunities ahead. Now it's time to welcome our first keynote speaker. And this topic, the topic he's going to address is actually super, super hot. It's probably one of the biggest technology steps that is probably going to change our whole society. I'm talking about AI, okay? Bill Gates himself recently wrote that AI is as fundamental as the creation of the microprocessor, the personal computer, the internet, and the mobile phone. So you can imagine that's not a small thing. And this is going to be the topic of the keynote. So let's welcome on stage the director of the Huawei Paris Research Center Datacom Department and director of the Network Products and Solutions AI for Net Lab, Mr. Dario Rossi. Thank you. Welcome, Dario Rossi. Hello.
Hello, everybody. So I'm really happy to be here to be talking about with you about two of my passions. One of the reasons why I'm really happy to be here is because if you look at what I've been doing in the past, I have had a very long career in academia. So basically, since the 2001, I started teaching to students. And then we had many different ways to interact. So I was in US, in Italy, then I settled in France in 2006. And so I taught to countless generation of students. I stopped counting at some point. We had many interesting courses, many interesting projects through the courses, internships, PhDs. These PhDs ultimately are now teaching in the same universities where I was teaching. So Telecom Polytech, for instance, and École Polytechnique. So I'm really happy to be around students again, because as you see, 5 years ago, I was contacted by Huawei, and I decided to come to Huawei to keep pursuing my two passions, network and AI. So let me start discussing why we are doing research. So we heard that we have a large number of employees, and 3,000 of them are researchers, just like me. So we are in 27 research centers in 13 countries, and in Paris, we have a really strong foothold. There are 5 research centers in France. I'm not going to go to the details of them because they're not related to AI. And there are 3 of them in Paris with over 300 people. Most of the AI stuff is done in the Paris Research Lab. So what I want to say is that out of these 300 people, you see that there are also several of them who has PhD. So this is normal progression after you finish your master studies. but you also accept interns. So we have roughly 30 interns all year long. And we also have apprentice and different levels of interns, even at bachelor level. So the students are very key in all activities that we do, because they will be the future researcher, right? So, and as you see, I suspect that in the room here and in the other rooms around in Europe, there are a lot of nationalities that are represented, exactly as we have in the lab, where we have more than 30 nationalities presently. But let's start discussing about AI. So AI, as was introduced earlier, is going to have a large impact on many aspects. And so in Huawei, we have a very broad portfolio that goes from very specialized hardware, for instance, wearable devices or phones, up to the first hops in the network, to the data center, where we have even very large cloud computing capabilities and accelerators for heavyweight processing workload. This is concerned the hardware, and we have also a very healthy ecosystem of partners that are developing, co-developing, and integrating the accelerators, for instance, in the board. But we also have a software stack on top. So you see we have something which is low level for the hardware that is going to be able to put in production the different models on the different hardware. But then we have a MindSpore, which is a software stack that can be used by researchers. And on top of that, we also have additional application enablement, like model arts, that is going to simplify the way of developing new AI application or already trained models, like Pango, you might have heard of, and that we're going to discuss later. So as you see, AI can be applied to internet, energy, transportation, telecommunication. Today, we're going to talk about internet and telecommunication, but there are other use cases, healthcare, even weather forecasts that are right now doing with the technologies that we'll be talking about today. And I want to start about what we do in research from a very high level. So let's start with this metaphor. I'm drawing this line that divides basically the mountains for the cloud. I like hiking, so I like to go to the mountain. And for me, this line represents the reality. I cannot cross that reality with my body. However, I can cross it with my mind. So in the lab, what we're doing is that we're doing sky-high research because we want our algorithm to be principled. We want to have theoretical ground for the algorithm we are developing. At the same time, we are a company. We need to make profit, and this profit is very useful because we invest 15 to 20% every year in R&D. And so we need to turn this algorithm into also useful algorithm for our product, which means that we need to start from well-grounded application so that our algorithms are going to be able to cross the reality line and be used in real products. Just to make the sake of the example, this is where we start. We start from use cases. We found a number of them that have a real concrete application for our products, so that they're going to turn into new features. I'm not going to go and list all of them, but you have traffic embedding, zero-day application, troubleshooting, control of dynamic networks, encrypted traffic management, forecasting of a future event, establishing quality of experience. 4 of them, we can use a number of techniques that are from AI. And again, the picture here is to show the broad diversity of the activities we do. But we will not have time, unfortunately, to go over each of them, although I would very much like to go over them. But today, we're going to basically focus on a couple of them, which are very important. I'm sure you already heard about foundational models. And we also want to add something about specialized models. And just like a final comment, when we do research, our goal is not only to be at the state of the art, it's to define the state of the art, to go beyond. And this is done in the academic community, for instance, by publication. So here I'm showing an example of rank A+ publication in either the application of AI to network or directly in the network field, so in the AI field in more theoretical venues. So now let's go discussing on the 2 topics that, due to time, we are going to be able to address today. And these are foundational and specialized models. And I want to go back to this metaphor, but this time we're going to give it a twist. So the line is always drawing something between the sky and the underneath the mountain. So we have that the sky is where the clouds are. And in the cloud is where the large foundational models are going to be run because they need the power of the cloud to be running this workload. At the same time, if you remember, we also have a fleet of devices from routers to other devices which have much less computational power, which are not going to be able to run such large models. but they will still going to be able to run specialized model for very specific purposes. So just for making an example that everybody is talking about now, if you think about natural language processing, 10 years ago, the state of the art was word embedding, so very small model, shallow. Then we started having bidirectional STM with sequence-to-sequence model, or up to 100 million. And we started having transformer like, for instance, BERT. Based on attention, this revolutionized really the field because it allowed to have a different way of training that was now completely parallel. And so in just 5 years, we were able to go from 100 million to 100 billion and even trillion number of parameters in these large models. I'm listing there some examples. You might have heard about Pangu Alpha, Pangu Sigma, the models that we're going to briefly illustrate later. I'm sure you're familiar with GPT-3. You might have heard about Llama or other models that are launched by French startup like Mistral AI. So these are the large foundational models that we can run in the cloud. But there are also the other models that we can still run even with CPUs on more constrained devices that are still going to be useful. So what happens is that we're going to have a prolific combination of this type of model. NetGPT in the network domain will be able to have a Pangu-based agent running on the cloud. And this agent is going to be having a job, for instance, of automating, of interacting with the human, of explaining to the human what is happening, and automating the interaction and execution of a lower layer model through the use of API. And we're going to have specialized models. Over there, I'm listing a couple of examples: troubleshooting, configuration, optimization. And there are going to be different for the different domains. And in the network, these are going to be relevant ones that are going to live in symbiosis. I just want to make a little bit more deep example. And this is probably the most technical slide you're going to see later. So we have the models on the right. These are the foundational model. In this case, it's NetGPT. It's based on Pangu, 38 billion parameters. This model has basically read many more books than we'll ever be able to read during my whole life. He has read all the documentation of the Huawei product. He knows all the APIs. He knows the troubleshooting cases. He knows the RFCs. So he's also an expert in the network field. And if you interacted with GPT, then you know that it's very easy to interact with these models because you just chat. And so by prompting, you can have a fluent interaction. And given that these models also know the APIs, they will also be able to actuate directly in the network. The model shown there is the real architecture of Pangu. So we're based on a mixture of experts. We don't have time to delve in the details of that. But you see that this is only half of the picture. The rest of the picture is using specialized models that will not be able to inject all possible sort of data and understand all sorts of data. You see that only one arrow, the red one, whatever red means, is one specific type of data that these models are going to be able to understand. So we're going to build models that have a very specialized task. They're going to be specific but very good and excellent at what they do, but they're going to have a much more narrow scope. At the same time, this model, and here there are illustrated model based on BERT, they're still going to benefit from quite general pre-training. So they're going to be able to understand multiple languages to, for instance, read naturally different type of data, from structured logs to JSON to YAML. They're going to be able to understand even binary or textual protocols. And this is thanks to pre-training. And then we're going to specialize those models for the specific task that we want these models to do. So for instance, if we are in the O&M case, we can have a model that is specialized on configuration synthesis. If you are in troubleshooting case, we want a model that is able to find trouble in the network, anomalies, and solve them. And if you are, for instance, in the case of attacks, we want to be able to quickly detect that something bad is going to the network in order to block the attacker or the intruder. So these are the examples of what we're currently doing now. But in the few minutes that remain, I just want to go a little bit beyond and say that, yes, AI is going to dominate our life. It's going to be an important cornerstone, but there are still things that we need to do. It's not over. So we need guys like you to be patient about it. I'm going to just have the time to mention four topics. And I'm going to start with the type of complexity that we see around. So you see here mentioning regulation complexity, infrastructural, model complexity, which is related to energy efficiency, and algorithmic complexity. And I just have a couple of minutes discussing very high level each of them. So the first I'm talking is the perfect fit for the infrastructural complexity. This one is really specific to networks because unlike AI, which is only done in the cloud, so you access from your device and you access the model which is in the cloud, in the case of Huawei, we have the ability to deploy AI at all the levels, from the user smartphone to the first hop to subsequent hops and to the cloud. And so over there, we can do the AI function in different places and different levels. So the idea is that we need to be able to orchestrate this function in a manner that is efficient for the task at hand and also be able to utilize the resources more efficiently. The other aspect that is in this slide is that, as I was telling you before, so in just 5 years, we went from 100 million to 1.6 trillion, for instance, for which transformer. So that's 10,000 times bigger in 5 years. And if you know anything about Moore's law, then it's much faster than Moore's law. So definitely, the use of specialized and large language models, so the combination of that is already something that can help in the direction of utilizing the energy in a more efficient way. Because specialized models are much smaller, they're much cheaper, they can run faster, so we can use them all the time, and only whenever these models are not able to provide the full picture, then we can trigger the more complex ones. At the same time, we also can do something more fundamental. Right now, if you think about the amount of data and the amount of epochs and the amount of training that we spend in order to tune the weights through gradient descent of these large models, we definitely need to have too many examples with respect to the number of examples that a child can use to learn something new. So we need to fundamentally think, how can we train differently the current models? And this is something that is definitely going to have a much broader impact and going to be able to let much easier use of specialized language model in the future. Then finally, the last two aspects that I'm going to talk about is the automation complexity, so the algorithmic complexity and the regulation complexity. Algorithmic complexity is kind of technical, so I'm not going to go into too much detail of that, but what you need to think is that in the lab, we have a lot of experts around. We have PhDs, we have very highly specialized experts, but in a company with 200,000 people, when you need to land one of the algorithms from the lab to the product, in the transfer, there is no the same level of skills, and this is totally normal. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to incorporate as much as our knowledge in an automatic data science workflow such that we are not needed in all stages. So we're trying, for instance, to do something to cope with the lack of skills, so for automatic parameter selection and other technical details. And some of these are also going to be useful, for instance, to compensate for the lack of data, to combat bias in the algorithmic machine learning. We're not going to have time to go into the technical details on this, so if any of these keywords ring an interest, we can discuss about it later. But what I want to conclude is on something else which is related to regulation. So I'm sure that you are familiar with GDPR, and GDPR is European legislation that protects the user privacy, and now it's not yet enforced. It's going to be enforced in 2024 and 2025. European Parliament is deliberating about the Artificial Intelligence Act. The AI Act is basically the prosecution of GDPR because it's going to protect the user privacy because the user is entitled to know that AI has been used to process your data and how the processing has been done. Of course, this is very important whenever you have biometric data which is highly confidential, but for all sorts of processing. Imagine that you're going to send a CV and an AI algorithm is going to select your candidature or not. Then the user have the right to know how the AI has been used. And so there's going to be really an important step in compliance with the new law. And in Huawei, we're already preparing ahead. So we are designing algorithms that are able to already conceive an explanation that is intuitive. And when you think that the model has 1 trillion parameter, then an explanation, well, the computation of 1 trillion neuron has given you the result. It's not something that you can really easily explain. So explainable AI is one of the topics that are going to be important for us and also for you in the coming data in order to make really AI something that is pervasive and we should be not worried of. So the time for me is over. So I was very happy to be able to share with you two of my passions, network and AI. And I invite you to enjoy the rest of the session and to interact later on in in the coffee break or the dinner.
Very much. Thank you very much, Dario.
Thanks.
Very, very insightful. A little bit too technical for me personally, I would say, but very inspiring, frankly speaking. Wow, AI is such a big topic for the future. The next topic is also a super trendy topic. It's about solar energy. Now, we're just a few weeks away from the next COP28, where I think there is a lot of expectation when it comes to the guidelines for the carbon footprint reduction, as well as for the new energy production. And so I think this topic is extremely important for our society in the future. And we are very lucky tonight, as the next speaker, to have the CEO of Kilowatt Sol and his vice chairman of the Syndicate of Renewable Energies in charge of the Solar Commission. Please welcome on stage Xavier Daval. Please welcome. The floor is yours.
Good night, Paris, and good night, world. I'm very happy to be here today, and yeah, just synchronizing. Yeah, I will talk about myself for just a minute. I don't want to be boring or whatever. This is my third life, and I step one day by accident in the solar world. You are going to have more than one life in this present world. You have to be ready to address whatever. My background is engineering, electronic engineering, and I moved in different worlds. And I just had to learn solar. And when you've got a technical background, when you've got a professional background, it's kind of easy just to swallow something else and start a fresh life. This is a fresh life, this is the future, this is your future, and I want to share it with you guys. I guess you are all familiar with this picture of the NASA, the world at night from the sky. And it's very nice, shimmering lights everywhere. But I much prefer this one. This is an anamorphic. It means that this is the previous picture, which is deformed according to the population. It means that on this very screen, each pixel is hosting the same number of people. And when you move to this representation, first of all, you discover that the planet is not as big or as small as you imagine. Mexico, for instance, 1/3 of the USA. We don't see that when it's a narrow triangle. You see that there. On the other side, the thousands of islands of Indonesia, larger than Europe. We don't have that in the mind. And when I look at Africa, it's dark. And it's not a joke. And this is the challenge of this century. Yes, we have the global warming, which is a real question. But beside global warming, we've got the darkness. If we want a peaceful world, and we see at this very moment that it's a complicated time, this continent needs energy. And I want to demonstrate to you that maybe solar could be a good solution for the planet. From the very beginning of humankind, if I draw a line from very long time ago up to today, and if I scale the wealth of the planet, the GDP, it started at the beginning with slaves. Slaves was, unfortunately, the manpower. When you wanted more strength, you take the people of the next country. Of course, we use animals, but you understand that it's very limited. We tried with the natural resources like the wind, like the rivers, but that was still doing the job. And it really changed when steam, coal stepped in. And from this point, the shape of the planet completely changed. And with oil, boom, we can do anything. We can continue forever. We've got the power we need, just liquid in the tank of the car. And the question is, can we continue to drive non-stop on the same fuel? And the answer is no. Sooner or later, it's going to stop. Either because we're going to run out of fuel, or we're going to reach the limit of overheating. So I guess that now, your generation definitely, but most of the planet is on agreement that we need to do something to limit the global warming. In Paris in 2015, we said it's going to be 2 degrees. And to do so, the only solution is to reduce carbon emission. Easy to say, easy to do. And is solar a good answer? Once again, I will share my life. When I started my company, I was convinced that solar was funny, good topics, interesting. But with my team of young engineers, PhDs, and so on, one day I say, is it a dream? Is it stupid? Is it a dead end? Or is it a real solution for the planet? And I had to prove it to myself. That's the slide I'm about to share with you. First of all, I wanted to explain to you something quickly. This is called the Kaya identity. Identity because something is equal to something. CO2 equals CO2, very easy. Now, if I multiply up and down by the ton of oil equivalent, TOE, I've got a new component, which is CO2 over TOE. And CO2 over TOE means the carbon emission per unit of energy consumption. That's your carbon density in the energy. If I continue same exercise now with the GDP, up and down, I've got a second factor. And the second factor will be the energy intensity. That's how effective I am with 1 drop of petrol, for instance, to do something. And if I do a last time with the population, I've got now a third factor. And this third factor is the GDP over population, means the richest, the wealth per human beings on the planet. We want to reduce by 1/3 the CO2 emission. Unfortunately for us, or fortunately, the planet is growing, and this is normal. We cannot stop that. Now, the thing is, the economic wealth has to grow. I want that the poor country gets richer. I want the child in Egypt or in India to go to school. So we have to grow the wealth of the planet. Now we've got 2 growing factors, and we want to reduce the other side. Doesn't work. We can try to do better, means having a better efficiency. We can work on that. On Huawei, just presented previously, we can consume less energy to compute more. Things can be done, but there is some limits. It means that the only way to really decrease carbon emission is to play on the carbon content of the fuel we are using. That's the most effective, and it shall go down to 0. If we look at the energy that the human being has access to on this side, you've got your total reserve, your deposits of coal, uranium, petrol, or gas. It's in the earth. Every time you take out something, there is less. On the other side, you've got the renewable energies. It's a flux. It means that every year, it's coming back. And all the dots are at scale. And human beings are consuming every year 16 terawatts. So the small dot of human beings has to come either from there or from there, and a mix of all of them. And can I go back? No. The big round thing, sorry, I didn't mention, is the sun. Thank you. This is the largest deposit of energy of all. And we are not using it today, not yet. Very interesting paper from the MIT when they looked at the planet and says, you have your energy resource, irradiance, then you compare with the surface, you need surface to put solar panel, so the land, the density of population on irradiance. Because the Earth is spinning around its axis, the light is the same everywhere, so the D table is flat, easy. You see that there is more land in the east part of the world and more people. We know the largest country of the world is India and China, obvious. Now if I change and I do the same exercise, but now, northeast, what I see is first more land in the northern hemisphere than in the southern, fair enough. But very interesting, the density of population is matching the solar resource. That's superb. And you know why? Because people prefer to live when there is sunlight than in Iceland. From the time human beings exist. So it's a natural factor. And if I compare two of the projects that we, KilowattsOL, studied, in Finland and in Chile, the gap between the two, 3 times. The Chilean project is producing 3 times more energy than the one in Finland. It means that the spread of access to energy from north to center to south of the planet is a factor 3 thing. This is nothing. If you compare to water, tell me that, for instance, there is the same amount of water all across Africa. Tell me that in France, we have the same size of oil resources than Saudi Arabia? No way. A factor 3 is nothing. It means that everybody can have access to. This is a sign of peace. You are no longer inviting your neighbor to take the same sun you have at home. Doesn't work. Another factor which is interesting is what is called the energy return on energy invested, EROEI. It means that if I take 1 liter of oil, how many liters of oil I can extract from the earth, for instance. And if you look at, so the balance should be between what you need to extract, to build the machine to extract, what you're gonna get over the time, and probably minus what you need to recycle. And if I plot a graph, the blue line, this is called the energy cliff. In the 30s, last century, with oil, 81/80. With 1 liter of oil, you could extract 80 liters of oil. Then in the 70s, it started to drop to 30. Today, new oil fields are in the region of 10. And I don't talk about tar sand and other schist and whatever. This is not even relevant. And if I plot what are the other energies, that was the typical graph. But the one thing that completely changed our industry is that solar was at 7. Today, solar is already at more than 20. And solar is continuing to grow, to grow, to grow, to grow. Because the efficiency of the modules, the inverters, the technology is constantly improving. So if we have to invest on an energy vector to fuel the planet, to fuel the future, which one shall we select? Declining one, stacked one, or a growing one? That's where we are today regarding to solar. Last year, the world installed 240 gigawatts of new capacity, nearly 50% in China. And as you can see, the shape of the curve, this is massively ramping. It's growing, 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 growing. We expect 400 gigawatts this very year. And what is going to happen? Solar, in your future, 2060, is going to be the first source of electricity of the planet. Today, 4%. Tomorrow, 60%. Do you know what it is to become number one? The solar market, the solar industry, will be bigger than the oil industry today. And it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be everywhere in price. It's going to be the cheapest source of energy everywhere. And some country will be 80% solar. Not all of them, of course, but it's going to be 8 topics. Topics for research, topics for development, topics for project management, topics for lawyers, topics for all the businesses. It's not limited to engineers. It's open to every field of applications. Solar was the largest growing segment last year. This is the mix of electricity mix of the planet. And the price dropping, dropping, dropping. We are nearly the cheapest source of energy of the world. To express how this industry has changed, this is the breakdown of the cost of solar module back from 2013 up to today. 10 years. 10 years ago, it was 83 cents per megawatt crête, per watt crête, watt peak, sorry. And it was, may say, a smartphone of this time was costing roughly 700 euros. Today, we're here, 14 cents. It means that the smartphone, which is ranging 1,000 something today, should cost 118. I guess you understand what kind of cell phone I'm talking about. You may recognize the shop. And if you go there and you ask for 200 euros a cell phone, I don't think you get anything at all. That's the decrease. And when I talk about the cell phone of 2013, and when I talk about the cell phone of today, I'm talking about the latest generation of solar panel. This is amazing. No other industry witnessed something like that. And I want to finish with a very positive thing. I discovered in 2014 a new topic, which is called agrivoltaism. Agrivoltaism is the nexus of food and energy together. It means that you can do something beautiful, and you can combine on the same piece of land animals, fruits, you save water, you change the temperature of the ground so you avoid the frost, you change the overheating in the summer, you save the fruits, you increase the production, this is rice, and this is coming. And once again, it's a beautiful hybridization of energy technology, food. Once again, if I go back to you guys, you can see that your life will be crossing solar, regardless the industry you're going to be working in. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Xavier. It was really, really a passionate speech and very, very informative about the solar energy. I've learned a lot, and I guess maybe you also learned a lot. And again, that gives us a long-term vision about it. I think that was really, really interesting for us. Now, for those who would be considering to join Huawei in the future, why not in the solar energy department? I would suggest you to open your ears very widely. Because the next speaker we're going to invite on stage is going to talk about Huawei human resources, and she's going to give us tons of information. She's not only a nice, friendly colleague, she's also a half-marathon runner. And she's the Huawei Europe HR Deputy Vice President. Please welcome on stage Leslie White.
Kind. Hello and good evening to everyone here in Paris, and also hello to everyone who's joining online. It is my absolute pleasure and honor to be back in Paris again to be presenting to you tonight. I'm going to share with you over the next few slides and few minutes the future talent for a sustainable world. And this is where I'm addressing all of you. Now, I will also share with you my story, because I want my story to, my journey, I should say, to inspire you, to attract you to explore and find out opportunities that are in Huawei, because I want you to replicate the amazing journey and opportunities I've had at Huawei. So this is a very quick snapshot of a journey that when I joined Huawei in 2005, I could not have predicted, nor could I have believed that it would exceed my expectations so much. So I joined in the UK, 2005. Then I had the opportunity to transfer to our headquarters, our main offices in Shenzhen in China. I was there for approximately 2 years, and then at the end of 2017, I transferred to Düsseldorf. So anything can happen. If you'd have said, is it possible? I would have said, I don't think so. But I hope that this will be an attraction to you to explore more about the opportunities that you can undertake at Huawei. So I will cover 5 topics tonight. I won't go too deep into them because time is limited. So we will talk about our company business, the Huawei business, the company overview, the core values, graduate program, and then how you can join us. Because I hope by listening, you are very interested to explore more. Now, Huawei's vision is very clear. Huawei has also been on a journey for more than 30 years, and they are committed to making the world a better place. So the journey has been to bring digital to every person and home and organization for a fully connected, intelligent world. They were at the cusp of digital transformation, and we are continuing to deliver on that vision and mission. Now, Huawei is a global ICT provider. It provides infrastructure and smart devices. So as you can see, I just want to share with you the scale of Huawei. Okay, so when we talk about our global presence, we have more than 207,000 employees based worldwide. They are based and located in more than 170 countries plus regions. We are all part of the European region. 55.4% of employees are 100% dedicated to R&D. That enables us to be creative, to have the next innovative products, support our customers to succeed in their digital journey. The next factor supporting the R&D is that globally we are number 4 in R&D investment. And we are able to do that because we are a privately owned company and our profits can be invested into the organization. We don't have to distribute dividends to shareholders. Whatever profit goes back into R&D, and on average, we will invest around 10%. So that enables us to be number 96 of the Fortune Global 500, and more importantly, as an attractive hook for you, we are number 23 on the Forbes top list of top employers. So there's a lot to be offered by Huawei. We have a very solid platform and infrastructure. Now, the business domains are very detailed, but this is a very helicopter view of the various business domains within Huawei. So we focus on our 3 customer groups. The first group are our consumers. So many of you will be aware of smartphones, watches, any wearables, tablets. We also have our carrier business. So that's our traditional business where we focus on our customers. I won't repeat them, but we have many, many of the top 45 worldwide mobile operators. Now, within that, we also have computing, and we have a new business domain called cloud. Now, within our enterprise business group, that's another recently added, around 10 years old, business domain focusing on many of our vertical markets. And we're also having the digital power. Digital power is an absolute new business domain because we feel that sustainability, which I will share in a moment, is absolutely key to the success of our customers, of governments, and also Huawei needs to design the technology to support that digitalization sustainable journey. And recently, we've gone into the automotive sort of intelligent solution. So we don't have vehicles on the road here in Europe, but I was recently in China, and we have a flagship store, and you can actually sit and drive in a Huawei car. It's not a Huawei manufactured car, but it is a Huawei car that we provide the solution for. So we're expanding into these new areas because we feel that as we evolve and things change in the environment, we need to keep pace. As I mentioned, we have sustainability targets, strategies. We actually have a sustainability initiative and program where we feel that it's vital that we protect the environment and promote the green economic recovery. We all know that that is a very hot, key topic. So we will do that through 4 elements. We will do that through digital inclusion, security and trustworthiness, environmental protection, and a healthy and harmonious system, ecosystem. We all want to be part of that. And it may sound a bit of a cliche, but through these initiatives, Huawei wants to make the world a better place for the long-term sustainable survival. Now, I've just discussed the industry and what we're doing regarding the industry. But what can you do if you were to join Huawei? We need talent. It's very important that we have the right talent to deliver on all of those strategic initiatives. So I've talked about the Huawei's vision and mission, but our core values sit at the heart of the organization. They are absolutely critical to how we all behave, how we can succeed in Huawei, how we can perform, and talent development is a driving force on how we can actually deliver on all the challenges we faced in the digitalization era. So I will now start to focus on the core values. We have 4 core values, as you can see. Customer centricity. We only exist to serve our customers, and we do that by providing the solutions, understanding their challenges, understanding their pain points, in order that we can have a mutual win-win situation. So staying customer-centric is at the forefront of everything we do on a daily basis. But in order to do that, we need to inspire the dedication of our employees. You are the key assets of the organization, or potential key assets. So we need to inspire that dedication. If you can do that, then when we face challenges, we persevere. We look at ways that together we can overcome those challenges. We persevere. We never give up. Whatever needs to be done, we will continue to find a solution, continue to work on a way forward. And finally, which is a core value that I particularly like, is grow by reflection. Now, what that means is we should all reflect daily in our lives. What we do, how we do it, could we do better? Could I have handled that conversation a bit better? Is there something that I can improve? So we can apply this both in our personal lives and in our professional lives, because it is through that reflection we can analyze a scenario, a situation, a project, something that we would have done that maybe we lost or we won, but we could have delivered it a bit better. We all do self-reflection, and it is a very healthy, constructive way of driving continuous improvement. So they are the 4 core values. They are cyclical, doesn't stop, it's ongoing. We all live by these core values. Now, this is to give you some information about Europe. I've shared with you the corporate overview. So up until March of this year, in the European region, we have 13,000 employees. And just very recently, the last week, we have been certified for the 4th year as a region top employer. So that's very important for us, and we cover 43 countries. The European region consists of 43 countries. And as you saw from my quick bio, the headquarters of the European region is in Düsseldorf, Germany. So we won a corporate startup in 2021, and we contributed to the European economy more than 12 billion GBP contribution. That is a massive contribution to society and the European region. Now, also more important, apart from the direct number of employees, we also support indirectly a total of 143,000 employees in the European region. So our reach and our collaboration is very wide. And I'm happy to say we have been able to reduce emissions by 102 million. Plus, we collaborate with 200 plus universities, and we have had cooperation with 20,000 students as part of the ITT community in the last 3 years. So these are some very impressive statistics just about Europe. So, now talking about talent. So, our talent programs are to provide you with opportunity because we want you to explore, to be interested, so you can look at ways of unleashing and realizing your potential. So there are many channels open to Huawei. I won't go through all of them apart from the 4th one. So we have Seeds for the Future, which is a program about giving you opportunity to explore some skills and potentially visit China. Then we have the ICT Academy, and you will hear from a winner of the ICT Academy after me. And also, I've just heard that the next competition has just been released. So for those of you based here in the Paris site, you can explore on the booth outside. And for those online, you can check with your local representatives. And we have the Huawei Student Developer Program. And then finally, we have the Huawei Graduate Program. So the European Graduate Program consists of 6 months. It's a very intensive, comprehensive training program for a 6-month period where you will undergo some standard professional training programs. Now, that includes new employee orientation, hardware installation, professional training, and on-the-job practice. It's a very intensive, you'll be assessed and you'll be supported and enabled through that period. After that 6-month period, we then provide a further 18 months of continuous support and enablement for you to succeed. Because the whole point is we want our graduates to transition into the organization, to show their value, and to contribute as quickly as possible. So we are there to facilitate your journey. This is something very unique to Huawei, and it's something I'm very proud to be able to present. Within Huawei, we offer what we call dual career path. So we have the managerial path, should you want to be a team leader, a director, a functional leader, a business leader, or you can go the expert path if you want to be particularly expert in a certain domain, whatever that domain may be. Now, the interesting thing is during the period, you can zigzag, because if you find something that you are passionate about, you will perform better. So we want to give you the opportunity to find the right position that suits your passion. So you will be able to zigzag between those two career paths. And also, as you can imagine, with contribution, with opportunity, with your development, you can exceed and become what we call our outstanding employees in a very quick, accelerated, fast-track journey. So, I hope that has interested you, that's given you a little bit of an appetite to explore more. So look at a way to join us, challenge your limits. So we offer many opportunities, and there are various channels for you to explore to inquire about joining Huawei. So if you want just to express an interest, please scan that QR code. We also have other opportunities for you to discuss with the expert team who will be on site after the event. So there are a plethora of opportunities, whatever is your specialism, whatever is your desire for your career growth. So utilize all these contacts to make an inquiry. Now, there is a process. I won't go into too much detail, but as you can imagine, there is a 4-step process. If you successfully pass the 4 steps, you will then get to final offer stage. And we hope that those that want to explore opportunities, you are successful, and I look forward to you joining Huawei and welcoming you to the European region. So, it is very important. The world is there for your taking. This is a great opportunity for you. So we are continuously searching for talents. We want talents with ambition. No matter what job you're applying for, come with ambition, come with passion, come with positivity. We value your commitment. If you are committed, that means you are dedicated and you will perform to the best of your ability. And then finally, insight. You are the young generation. You have a technology is evolving. You have different insight, input, mindset. And all of this combined will help you have a very strong career growth at Huawei. So, I want to say thank you very much. I hope that's been attractive to you. You're interested to learn more, so please speak to the team and I will be available for questions after. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Leslie. Wow, very informative, very insightful presentation. Wow, I'm always very impressed because I wish I could speak such a good academic English. So I'll try my best to continue with a very British accent. I don't know if I can cope with this, but okay, I will try my best. Our next speaker tonight is a special guest. In fact, he was very recently still a student in Turkey. And with his team, he took part in the ICT Academy competition. And they actually won this competition. So he's going to tell us a few words about their adventure. Please welcome on stage Ali Guzum. Welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ali Gözüm, and I'm winner of the Huawei ICT competition 2022-2023. And I'm really excited to share my experience with you. And our project was designed to help people who are paralyzed neck down. And let me introduce my team and problem we're trying to solve, and solution is we developed. Innovation is what will we do in the future, and ICT, our ICT experience in China. Our team's name is Rotec AI. All team members are from Electrical and Electronics Engineering Department at Gazi University in Turkey. Our supervisor is Associate Professor Urhan Kutbay, and as I said, I'm Ali Gözüm, and I'm leader of team, and I'm working on artificial intelligence, and Onat Bulut is working on user interface software, and Burhan is working on computer vision. What did we today? And what did paralyzed people do? We had breakfast and took a shower. We usually drink something and tried something our daily life in our own. But paralyzed people cannot do these on their own. They need a caregiver to do this. Only can think about something as us. According to the World Health Organization, 15 million people suffer different types of paralysis every year. With the developing artificial intelligence, we want to offer a solution to people who are paralyzed, spend most of their time in bed, and are dependent on someone. We have a solution to help these paralyzed people. We have been developing a prototype which helps paralyzed people to the simple needs with using a humanoid robotic arm which controlled by eye movement. Our project takes object on the table, and user can choose which object to be selected by their eyes through a monitor and what they want to do with that object. Our robotic arm will do the action by using artificial intelligence and helps our user. One of the two cameras to be used is mounted on the mechanism of the robotic arm, detecting the objects on the table and transferring them to the interface with their coordinates. He will classify these objects on the table with the convolutional neural network algorithm using PyTorch, TensorFlow, and Huawei MindSpore libraries. These objects to be trained will be classified not only by type, but also by their different colors. The robotic human arm moves towards that object by taking the coordinates of the selected object in the interface and returns to its original position after performing chosen by the paralyzed individual. Reinforcement learning algorithms will be used to provide the movements of the robotic human arm. Because by adding some obstacles in the environment to be created, it will ensure that the robotic human arm learns every situation by itself in reaching the object and will minimize its mistakes. In the created environment, the robotic human arm gains positive or negative reward in every situation as it moves towards the target. Since the robotic human arm memorizes all these advances, it advances by choosing the paths where it receives the highest reward while reaching the object. For a paralyzed person to command the arm, we track the movement of the user's eyes and eyelids to interpret their intention. Specifically, we analyze the contrast between the left and right side of the eye to take the user's gaze to direction, while monitoring the eyelid movements to determine if the user closing their eyes. To prevent unintended actions, the user must deliberately look in specific direction and then close their eyes for a predefined period to register the desired action, as you can see in the slide. The system can be scaled to incorporate a variety of objects and actions, making it adaptable to a wide range of user needs. Our device is unique and innovative. There are no comparable projects that we are aware of. It utilizes artificial intelligence to train the system to detect specific objects with minimal error rate. Additionally, this system is modular, making it easy to install and adaptable to various settings. Finally, the paralyzed individual can control the robotic arm solely with their own eye movements, eliminating the need for additional devices that may be uncomfortable or intrusive for the user. Regarding the future of the product, our plan is optimize production cost while simultaneously integrating new quality of life features, such as temperature recognition. This will allow us to promptly alert users if the object poses a potential danger to their own well-being, terribly enhancing their overall experience with the product. In this section, I'm going to talk about ICT competition experience in China. Actually, we start the competition with a big problem. Because while bringing the prototype from Turkey to China, it was broken on plane. We had to fix it, but we need a glue. But we tried to find a glue around the hotel. This time, we didn't know the Chinese. It was terrible for us. Last, we found a glue and started to fix the prototype. Why we couldn't very well. We couldn't do live demonstration. We prepared a small video and showed the jury with the support of our supervisor. Thanks to competition, I had the opportunity to learn Huawei technologies such as Huawei Cloud and Artificial Intelligence Library Mindspore. In this competition, where I learned how to carry out a project as a team leader, we interacted and brainstormed with people from different countries who didn't know each other. During the time we spent on the Huawei campus, I experienced a different surprise every day. Because it was too big, it was like a small city in Shenzhen. You could find anything you wanted inside. Throughout the competition, we as a team, we had a very enjoyable time with both the other competitors from Turkey and competitors from other countries, whom we didn't know each other. And rewards. It's a great honor for me. Because 1 year ago, where we watched the video of the ICT competition 2022 Tech for All winners, we said, why not shoot our video this year? We achieved this. We took both the Huawei ICT competition 2023-2022 world second prize and Tech for All Digital Inclusion honor awards. And I would like to thank my teammates and my instructors for providing us with all kinds of support. And I would like to thank Ms. Kubra, who always trusted me and supported me throughout the competition. And I would like to say something more before I finish my presentation. If you believe in yourself, there will definitely be someone who trusted you. And will support you. So never give up, even if you make a mistake. You just work and believe in yourself, because we are close to being successful and happy. The biggest reason why I'm on this stage today is Huawei ICT Academy. As a result of the training I received, they helped me a lot by participating in the competition. My dear student friends, if you want to take part in this stage next year, definitely join the Huawei ICT Academy program. Here, you will expand your horizons and improve yourself by meeting people from different fields. I would like to thank the entire Huawei ICT Academy team for offering me this opportunity. And I would encourage you to register to Huawei ICT competition 2022-2024 competition. Registration is already opened, and there is 2 competitions. Innovation competition and practice competition. In practice competition, there is 3 tracks: network track, cloud track, and computing track. It's been really experienced for me and my team, and I highly recommend to you to register the competition and experience that everything. And please come in and visit us on the talent booth and I will answer your questions, and I will tell you everything about competition and Huawei ICT Academy. And you can take a picture with Europe Academy mascot, Huawei. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ali. Very inspiring, very exciting story. I'm sure it's going to motivate a lot of the people here to join this competition next year. I think this is really showing that you can learn a lot from Huawei and you can bring a lot to Huawei. I think this is very inspiring for me, and I really hope some of you guys will join this competition next year. Now comes the time of our special panel discussion. But before that, I would like to make sure that you are still okay tonight in this room. Can I hear you? Make some noise. Come on, come on, come on. More noise now. Woo! I'm going to welcome on stage now 3 young, bright, smart, cool, handsome colleagues who were in your position as students very recently and who joined Huawei as fresh graduates. Please welcome on stage Safa, Paul, and Com. Please welcome.
Bonjour.
Salut. Hello.
Bonjour. Thank you, Jean-Christophe. Ça va?
So thank you for accepting this experience of sharing with us your first couple of months, couple of years at Huawei. First, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, first, I'm so happy to be here today. I'm Safa. I'm IT Solution Manager for B2B business, and I'm a network and telecommunication engineer from Sorbonne University.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure. Oh,
thank you.
Welcome, Safa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Popescu. I'm IT Solution Manager, and I joined Huawei since 4 years now in 2019.
Okay.
And Com?
Hello, everybody. So I'm Com Gendron. First, sorry for my accent. I hope you will understand me. I'm engineer of EPF, École d'ingénieurs in France, in Montpellier. It's a generalistic school. Then I did a master thesis in Mines Paris as an engineer again in energy system optimization. And I joined Huawei in 2020, like 3 years ago, as a solar solution manager. And I'm now responsible of the commercial and industrial department of Digital Power.
Thank you again for accepting the challenge to be on stage today. Can you tell us how did it come that you joined Huawei? Maybe Safa, you can start.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I have some interesting story because I start my engineer degree as network and telecommunication. Then I make a lot of internship in that domain where I found the idea that I have to change, I have to move from network. That doesn't not mean that network is bad at all. It's good domain, but not for me. It was a personal opinion, a personal decision. So I decided to move and to apply for other position. So to my surprise, I got only feedback, and my profile was only interesting for network engineer position. That's all. But hopefully, Huawei give me the opportunity to change, give me the chance to make something that I really want to do. So this is the most important for me, and I'm really, really happy to be here and to work with such good player in the industry, especially, as first job is not something easy.
Thank you for this sharing, Safa. Com, I think you also have some things to tell us about how you joined Huawei.
Of course, this is a very good question, Jean-Christophe. I will try to
explain
how it works for me. No problem. So first, I was always passionate about energy, and I wanted to work in a big company, like international group, to start my career. And I found this job offer on LinkedIn. It was a solar solution position from Huawei, so I apply. It sends my CV. And then I had a call from the HR, the human resources, and they explained me the job. I found it very interesting, you know. Then I had a second interview with the technical guy who was who wanted to hire someone in his team. And we did the interview, and like after 5 minutes, I told him, I'm sorry, I don't understand anything about what you speak on solar, on the business. And I told him, can we set up a second interview in like 1 week, and I will explain you what I learned. He told me, yeah, sure, no problem, go. So for 1 week, I worked like every night, every day to understand the solar business. I look on internet, I call some friends, some people working in the industry. I made the presentation, and he told me, it's not so bad, it's not perfect, but welcome on board. And this is how I joined Huawei.
Wow, what a story. Thank you, Com.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And you, Paul, why did you join Huawei?
So me, I joined with an internship. So I start with an internship. And but why? First, I check on internet. Who is Huawei? What is Huawei? So I saw that that is the first in telecommunication. So it impressed me. Then I made more research, and I saw that there is many activities. You have the IT, you have solar, telecom, of course. So I saw that it's a good opportunity, and let's have a try. So I start with an internship, and then afterwards, when I start to work inside, I say I don't want to leave this company. I want to continue and be a real employee. So because I see that there is a lot of opportunity, many sectors, and also the fresh graduate program was very interesting to have a good career. So I start like this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your sharing. Thank you.
So maybe Jean-Christophe, we can ask you the same question?
You mean why I joined Huawei?
Yeah?
Okay. C'était pas préparé. Hein? Well, actually, I joined Huawei about 10 years ago. And I joined it because they were #1 in the telecom industry, and they are still #1 in the telecom network industry, definitely. And what made me stay after 10 years, more than 10 years even, is the diversification, is the fact that we are growing so fast in the new domains, in the solar industry, in the IT, in the cloud, in automotive even. So many new things coming up every year, and this is what makes me stay longer than I would have imagined from the beginning, frankly speaking. So it's always a very, very passionate journey. Thank you.
Very nice. Wow.
So all of you joined the Huawei graduate program. So can you say a few words about the fresh graduate program and the benefits that you see?
Yeah, maybe I can start. For me, graduate program is really good opportunity for fresh graduates. So maybe I can give 3 points, important points that I found really very, very important. The first one is like they give us the development skills, even technology skills or soft skills, by giving us a lot of training, especially the first months. It's going to be intensive training, but it's really important. The second point is the mentorship and the guidance. They help us to make how to start our career, how to make it better, and how we can communicate with others, our customer or our partners, especially for the 2 first years also. And the last point is the most important for me, is the smooth transition, because as a student, it's not going to be easy for us to pass to business life. So they gave that for me and for my colleagues, I think, is the same thing, a good supportive environment to enroll the life of business life. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Koum?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Safa. From my point of view, I think the graduate program is a very innovative program to engage new resources, new young talent in a company, because you will discover all the business units in the first 2 years, talk with many people, and also you have many trainings. As Safa, you said, like the soft skills trainings. Personally, it helps me a lot to engage with our customer, to develop my customer relationship. So that's it. For me, the soft skills is the most important.
Okay, and you, Paul?
Yes, I agree with both of you, because also you have a logic in your career. So for example, for myself, I start with an internship, as I told you, but after I start in the service and maintenance team. So it means the integration of the storage product, the equipment, see the equipment, install it. Now I'm solution manager, so it means that I explain to customer the solution, and maybe the next step will be to be account manager, so it's to sell it to customers. So there is a logic in your career when you start, and also you have different possibilities. So maybe you can start as myself in the service team, but after you can go in the management part or stay in the expertise, so be an expert in a certain domain. So you have different choice, and of course it's your choice.
Thank you. Thank you for this sharing to all of you about the graduate program of Huawei. Thank you. Now maybe the students here are asking themselves, what is a working day at Huawei? Is there a typical working day or not? You are in different roles and positions in the company, so is there a typical working day, Koum?
Honestly, again, a good question, Jean-Christophe.
Thank you.
For me, there are no typical day within Huawei. I will explain you 1 week, for example. On the Monday, I can have a business review meeting with the team to align on all the topics. The Tuesday, we can go in Montpellier, in the south of France, to make a technical training to some customer. In the afternoon, I can go on site to help to make commissioning, to make troubleshooting for another customer. And on Wednesday, we can go to China to audit factory or to a factory visit with some customer. So honestly, you never get bored within Huawei.
Thank you for the sharing. And Paul, what is your opinion about this question?
For myself, it's the same. No typical day, no typical week, but in general, I can have the review of the project with the account manager. I will design a solution for a customer. After I will present it another day. I can review the current projects that are ongoing for installation, and also a good part is the customer relationship. So go for dinner and for lunch with customer. This is also a good part.
Okay, the best part. Okay, I understand. Very diverse experience, and I mean the plan is never the same every day. Okay, good. Could you share with us some memorable experience or moments that you've had during your journey so far at Huawei? Safa, maybe you start.
Yeah, maybe I can share an anecdote that happened to me when I just joined Huawei. So I joined Huawei just few days before HCE of the last year, 2022. It's the same event like now. I have no idea about storage, no idea about the product solutions, but my boss asked me to present the solution to the customer, where we can find visitors like researchers, experts, seniors, students like you, even journalists. So I have to be careful of the answer that I can say. So I was searching a lot in our platform about information of the product, solution. I asked a lot of questions for our colleagues, and especially that I prepare some answers for questions that can be asked during that event. And really, it was a good experience for me as first one. And now I'm here again, and I'm happy with that experience.
And you, Paul?
For me, it was a program named Rising Star Program. So this program is like you pick people from each country in Europe and you send them to China. And in China, you stay there for 1 week. You have a training, like it's management, technical training. And after you go also in HQ, in the headquarters of Huawei. So you can visit and you can also go in China. It was my first time, so it was very nice. And the thing that is very impressed me a lot is how strong is Huawei in China. And when you see Huawei in China, you realize where do you work, and also it's also strong in China, but also all over the world. So it's very impressed me.
Okay, thank you. And you, Com, what would be your memorable moments you would like to talk about?
On my side, it's exactly as Paul mentioned. I was working since 2 years and a half within Huawei as solution manager. I was giving many technical workshops, explaining to customers that we had good solution, you know, but I've never been to China, and I never saw the headquarters, never saw the factory. So 6 months ago, in last May, I had the chance and the opportunity to go there with some customers to visit the factory, and it was like, wow, it's very impressive. In the factory, you can't even see the wall at the end of the factory, and everything is fully automatized. It's honestly amazing. And after the visit, I understood how powerful was Huawei and why this company is so strong. And I was very confident in the company and in our products.
Thank you all for the sharing. What do you like actually about Huawei in particular? Maybe you can mention that you said a lot of things already, but what you particularly like? Cool, maybe you can continue this one.
I think it's the international side of the company and the way how the people are trying to solve an issue. Because I have my French style, but we are also discussing with Spanish people, with Indian people, with Chinese people, and everybody is trying to solve this issue and to find a solution for the customer. And this is it's amazing, like everybody in the same way.
Okay, Paul, what?
Yes, I follow you, Com. So yes, it's also the customer-centric. As you say, it's very dedicated for customer, find the best solution for customer, and this is very good value that also you can have after that. But also is the fact that how you can learn in Huawei. So you have the website, you can find many trainings in the website, but you also can have some experts that will help you to understand the technology and be here for you. And they will be here for you, but also, for example, if you have a meeting, you will always have someone that can help you for a customer meeting. Even 5 minutes before the meeting, you can say, yes, I need someone for a technical part, and you will find it. So the resource also is very impressive.
Okay, and you, Safa, what do you like particularly?
I'm totally agree with Paul and Com about the diversity of culture and language. For example, I'm not French, I'm not Chinese, I'm originally from Tunisia, and I'm well adapted, well integrated in the team. Everything is going well. And the second thing, maybe the international side of Huawei, because it allows us to make a lot of business trips all over the world, like Africa, Asia, Europe. Is very well for me.
Okay, and we're already reaching the last question of the session. What message do you like to send to the students who are joining this event tonight?
I can say move from your comfort zone, push yourself to be the best, and especially believe that you can do something like more than limits.
Okay, Paul.
You have many challenges, but it means also many opportunities, so don't hesitate.
And Com?
And on my side, maybe like believe in yourself, be confident, and be curious, always.
Thank you very much to all of you. It was very interesting discussion.
Thank you.
Safa, Paul, and Com.
Thank you. Maybe I can say something at the last thing. We'll be here. Don't hesitate to ask me or Paul or Com. Just after the keynotes, we'll be here. Will be pleasure to ask us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci, Jean-Christophe.
I hope you enjoyed the sharing, how they started their career at Huawei. I'm sure this discussion was interesting for all of you guys. And now, I would say, unfortunately, this is going to be the time to leave our audience online. So after waving hello, I would say let's wave goodbye to our students, fellows around Europe. And we are going to continue our journey. I hope that all the people online really enjoyed this evening. And it was really my pleasure to lead this digital night. And I'm sure I will see you again next time. Thank you. Okay, and now, I hope they are all disconnected. Because now we're just between us in this small, tiny room. Because I must say you're privileged tonight. Because actually what's coming next is that we are going to run a lucky draw with 100 prizes to be distributed. So the guys online won't get that. I hope they really are disconnected.